Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor episode number 60 based on novel. So let's start. Are you okay? Xiao Yang also murmured. Not good, very bad. She has the blood of the Medusa royal family and has evolved into a 9-colored swallowing python, so she is both admirable and greedy among the Medusa family. How long does it take? Xiao Yang also asked. It should be 5 years. When her retreat ends, I will also go back to the Medusa family. We may be enemies by then. Green Flute also said. Don't worry, there won't be such a day. Xiao Yang also said with a smile, and then ran towards the top of Mount Hua. Kaylin, it's really good that you're okay. 5 years. 5 years from now, I will definitely go to the Medusa clan to find you. Then. Roadblocker, kill. So. In these 5 years, I must become stronger. Xiao Yang also had an idea in his heart. Because in this profound spirit continent, only strength is the most powerful means. Is this kid really the queen's husband? The strength of the 4-star Dodi in the early days is too high. However, I can still feel the faint aura of her lady queen's blood from him. Green Flute also shook her head and followed. Several other people did not notice the changes and exchanges between Xiao Yang and Lu Di, and nothing happened along the way. Not long after, everyone had come to the middle of Huashan Mountain, and there seemed to be a worldwide barrier in front of them to isolate them. You haven't come out to greet people yet? Chang Yu's voice was also full of coercion, facing the middle of the barrier. Ha ha ha, Deputy Pavilion Master Chang Yu has worked hard. Leave the rest to me. As Chang Yu's cold snort fell, a lazy voice appeared in front of everyone. Then everyone saw that the space in front of them shook violently, and then a figure in red as young as them appeared. Humph. Mo Chen, don't forget the time. These are the new disciples this time. If something goes wrong, you will be happy. Chang Yu said. Understood, uncle. I'll take them in first. The 3 sect masters have been waiting for a long time. The person called Mo Chen also laughed. Let's go, let's go. If it wasn't for my outer cabinet majoring in Xinxing, these excellent seedlings would definitely not be given to your cabinet. Which 3 old guys in the cabinet, every time they don't pick up newcomers, they know they're coming to grab people. Chang Yu also said depressedly. Follow Mo Chen in, he will take you into the Dao Funxiang Pavilion cabinet, where there are a lot of profound skills. I hope you little guys have good luck. Chang Yu also said slowly. Yeah. Dozens of people also slowly agreed. This burning incense pavilion is divided into 2 inner and outer pavilions. The outer pavilion focuses on cultivating Xinxing. Most of them are ordinary people with very weak strength. As for the cabinet, it is a place to learn advanced fighting techniques, and many of them are very powerful. Mo Chen also spoke slowly, and then looked at the group of people behind him lazily. According to the news that came back before, this time, they had absorbed the 5 most talented disciples in the Funxiang Pavilion, and the top 3 in the points plundering competition all joined them. The top 3 places in the points grabbing competition are quite a lot. Mo Chen also participated in the point grabbing competition before, and only achieved the 10th place achievement. The future achievement of this first place is. However, Mo Chen wasn't surprised either. After all, since they decided to join the Funxiang Pavilion, they were already brothers and sisters from the same sect, so how could they fight each other? This burning incense pavilion is really powerful. Every single person who leads the way has the strength of a 6-star fighting emperor. Xiao Yang also grinned. Hey, what's this? The heaven-shifting ruler in the burning incense pavilion is specially tailored for you. The voice of his master, the Golden Dragon King, also sounded slowly in Xiao Yang's heart. Moving the ruler of the sky. Xiao Yang also shrank his pupils tightly, as if thinking of something. Hey, don't worry, you'll know after entering the cabinet for a while. The King Dragon King's playful voice also sounded. Xiao Yang also shook his head and did not ask any further questions. Let's go. This is where the formation of the Burning Heaven Array is located. Next, I will take you to the Burning Heaven territory. Follow me and don't rush in. Mo Chen also said slowly. Before he finished speaking, Mo Chen's handprint suddenly changed drastically, and then a door of light enough to accommodate one person's entry and exit appeared in the space in front of him. Let's go. Mo Chen said, and then poured into the gate of light. Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying and Mu Feng also looked at each other, and then stepped straight into the door of light. As more than a dozen people stepped in, the door of light shattered instantly after the last person stepped in, and disappeared without a trace. Hee, Xiao Yang, Mu Feng, Mu Yingying, I hope you can win the sect competition in a few years. Chang Yu also said slowly, and left here. Everyone followed Mo Chen into the Burning Heaven territory, and they were immediately stunned by the scene in front of them. Entering the Burning Heaven territory first, Xiao Yang first discovered that the place he was already in was an extremely huge space. Obviously, the place where the Burning Incense Pavilion on the top of Mount Hua was located was a space opened up by some great master. In the huge space, the fragrance of birds and flowers, plus some buildings that are full of langya in the space also appeared in front of everyone. This Burning Incense Pavilion is really a big piece of work. Xiao Yang also murmured. Compared to the ancient world of the ancient clan on the Dochi continent, the space of this Burning Heaven territory is still a celestial tomb, which is undoubtedly too large. Moreover, Xiao Yang can feel that this is a separate and independent space. I am afraid that if he wants to open up such a space, at least he needs the strength of Do Di Peak or even stronger. Hey little guys, you are welcome to join us in the Burning Incense Pavilion. I am your senior brother Mo Chen. You can tell me anything in the future. After all, the rule of our Burning Incense Pavilion is that the visitor is the guest, and the brothers and sisters of the same sect are like siblings, and they must not kill each other. Mo Chen also smiled at the dozen or so people in front of him. Then I would like to thank senior brother Mo first. The first disciple also said slowly. Xiao Yang and Mu Feng found that Mo Chen's smile was very real, without a trace of false meaning. Such a smile was a happy smile that absorbed their dozens of newcomers and increased the strength of Funxiang Pavilion. Let's go, the 3 sect masters have been waiting for a long time. Then it's up to you to choose a place that suits your cultivation. Come with me. Mo Chen also smiled, then greeted a few people, and walked away to a rather simple but ancient hall. It really deserves to be a super sect. Xiao Yang also sensed some rather powerful and hidden auras from the buildings in Langya in all directions, and immediately activated his vindictive energy and followed. Hee, Mo Chen is back. Above a tall building, one of the 3 middle-aged people, a rather loving red figure, also stood up and said. The red figure just finished speaking, and the other 2 figures are also staring at Xiao Yang, who is not far away, with great interest. These newcomers this time are really good. I don't know who said something, and then the 3 of them laughed. As soon as they landed, they saw 3 mysterious figures. Hee, it seems that this batch of disciples are quite good. The figure in white said with a smile. Of course, according to the news from Chang Yu, this time the twin ghost emperors in the points plundering competition broke through the seal, and their strength is comparable to the 8-star fighting emperor. However, when the twin ghost emperors were seriously injured, Chang Yu and the others were also preparing to retreat, but the first place in the points grabbing competition borrowed the fighting spirit in their 3 bodies to kill the twin ghost emperors with 1 blow. Such a record is truly astonishing. A lean man also meditated slowly. 2 old guys. It seems that this time my human palace will be able to. The red figure also said slowly, and then shook his head helplessly. Master, Uncle Mu, Uncle Hua. I brought it back. Mo Chen also respectfully said to the 3 figures above the hall. Just bring it back. You go down first, there have been some changes in the burning sky formation recently, so be careful. The red figure said. Yeah. Mo Chen replied softly, and then slowly stepped back. Just as Mo Chen was leaving, Xiao Yang also discovered the 3 terrifying figures in front of him. In the hall in front of him, there are 3 people. The 3 formed a triangular stand. The one above the top was a figure in white, and the 2 behind them were a red figure and a grey figure, but without exception, Xiao Yang followed the 3 figures. I felt an extremely terrifying fluctuation. If Xiao Yang guessed correctly, these 3 people should have something to do with the 3 temples of heaven, earth and human that he heard about before. Hee, such a huge soul power. It's really a good seedling. The voice of the figure in white in the first place came out, and the figure came to Xiao Yang's side in an instant, and said slowly. The junior is. I don't know what the seniors call you. Xiao Yang also said in surprise. The reason why Xiao Yang was surprised was that this senior actually came to him without a sound, and he didn't notice anything yet. This ghostly movement really surprised Xiao Yang. Moreover, Xiao Yang found that no matter how he felt, he could not discover the power of this mysterious powerhouse in front of him. It felt like a human being without the slightest vindictiveness, but Xiao Yang also knew that this kind of powerhouse was the most terrifying. Back then when he faced the twin ghost emperors in the Yin Corpse forest and was able to match the strength of the enemy's 8-star fighting emperor, it was what made Xiao Yang feel this way. Now facing the powerhouses in the Burning Incense Pavilion, I still have this feeling. which can only mean that the power of the three powerhouses in front of me is no less than that of the twin ghost emperor. Even stronger. Hihi, my name is Liu Ping, and I am the deputy head of the Heavenly Palace. His name is Huazhi, and he is the deputy head of the Earth Palace. His name is Mu Shuzi, and he is the deputy head of the Human Palace. The figure in white was named Liu Ping. The man also smiled slowly. Boy Xiao Yang has met 3 seniors. Xiao Yang also said respectfully, I have seen 3 seniors. Behind Xiao Yang, dozens of people including Mu Yingying, Luo Guang, Ludi and Mu Feng also spoke. Hey, you don't have to use conventional etiquette. Liu Ping said. The top 3 in this point looting competition all joined our burning incense pavilion. It really hasn't happened for many years. Liu Ping said, but his eyes were taken away from Xiao Yang, and then he looked at dozens of people in front of you. Which one of you is the first? Huazhi also sounded like a dull thunder. It's him. Mu Feng and others took a step back when they heard the words, and then said in unison. Humph. What does it mean to take my first place? Mu Yingying was also a little unhappy, but Xiao Yang also knew that this Mu Yingying was just talking about it, and she would not be unhappy with herself because of this. After all, Mu Yingying has the highest score no matter what. If it wasn't for the twin ghost emperors, it would seem that she would have to work hard to get the first place. Oh, it turned out to be your kid. However, relying on the strength of the 4-star Do Di in the early stage is not enough. Your soul strength is a bit strong. Liu Ping also laughed, and then stared at Xiao Yang carefully. However, his eyes were very surprised. Previously, Liu Ping knew the power of Xiao Yang's soul, but now after careful sensing, he realized that this kid is actually hiding. The strength of the 4-star Do Emperor in the early stage actually has the courage to fight with the twin ghost emperors. You have a lot of courage. And with your strength in the early stage of the 4-star Do Emperor, you can still win the first place in this competition, which is very unbelievable. Huazhi also said, obviously although he had heard that the strength of the first place was not very strong, but his courage and heart are very good. Early stage of the 4-star Do Di? Mu Yingying on the side also came back to her senses. After the fiery exit, Mu Yingying only remembered at this moment, this Xiao Yang is only the strength of the 4-star Do Di in the early stage. In other words, it is also the strength of the 4-star Do Di that is perfect. Emperor's mortal level soul power? Liu Ping's eyes were very vicious. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Yang's soul power was discovered. Xiao Yang was also helpless. For a powerhouse at this level, he wanted to hide it. No. However, Liu Ping was also surprised. Although he had just discovered the power of Xiao Yang's soul, he was even more surprised when he discovered it now. Are you still a pharmacist? Liu Ping also spoke slightly. After all, this kind of soul power is quite troublesome to cultivate. Many people will never come into contact with this kind of power in their entire lives, so most of the human soul power on Do Di continent is from the heavenly realm. Although he is in the heaven, he knows nothing about soul power, so the defense and use of soul power are rarely used. After all, as long as the alchemist needs a strong soul power, he can have a huge soul perception and refine high-level medicine pills. Therefore, every human with huge soul power has a great possibility to become an alchemist. It's the peak of the first-rank emperor. Xiao Yang also said with a slow smile. Obviously, recently, in order to join these super sects, he has lost his medicine refining skills. Moreover, Xiao Yang's current medicine refining technology is also vaguely at a bottleneck. To break through this bottleneck, a second-grade emperor alchemist is just around the corner. The peak of the first rank of the emperor. Liu Ping also said slowly. Hearing this, the expressions of the 2 strong men behind Liu Ping also changed. Double breaks are very rare. And just like this Xiao Yang, it is even rarer that he has achieved a lot in fighting qi and medicine refining skills. Based on Liu Ping's experience, he naturally knows that the first-grade emperor rank medicinal pills are divided into 3 levels of heaven, earth and profound. As for Xiao Yang, the peak of the first-grade emperor rank, he is also within easy reach of the second-grade emperor rank. The first-grade Shendan of the emperor rank can make the 1-star Do Emperor be driven by Xiao Yang, the earth pill can make the 2-star Do Emperor be driven by Xiao Yang, and as for the Tiandan, it can make the 3-star Do Emperor willing to be driven by Xiao Yang. The charm of the alchemist. Is this kid still an alchemist at the peak of the first-rank emperor rank? Mu Yingying couldn't hide her surprise as she looked at Xiao Yang. At the same time, Green Flute and Luo Guang on the side looked at Xiao Yang in astonishment, as if they were looking at a monster. Are you still human? A roar resounded in everyone's heart. Here's the level of redefinition. Do D. Each star is divided into early stage, middle stage, late stage, and consummation. For example, the peak of the 1-star Do Emperor in the early stage is a symbol that he is about to break through the middle stage of the 1-star Do Emperor. The previous level will not be changed, which affects reading, but in the future, consummation will be used instead of peak. This kid will join my heavenly palace. I believe that it will also shine in my heavenly palace. Liu Ping said after thinking for a while. Let's not talk about Xiao Yang's prestige for the first place in the points plundering competition and the terrifying courage to kill the twin ghost emperors. Dang Dang is the alchemist at the peak of Emperor Xiao Yang's first rank, which will make the 3 deputy hall masters look up to him. Although this Xiao Yang is currently only a first-rank emperor alchemist, but for his future achievements, it is quite worthwhile. After all, this Xiao Yang's future achievements are limitless. Thinking back then, when the Valley Master of Pill Valley was at Xiao Yang's age, his achievements were not as powerful as Xiao Yang's. My heavenly palace is currently the place with the greatest strength and resources among the 3 halls of heaven, earth, and people in the Funxiang Pavilion. Joining my heavenly palace, with your talent, will definitely benefit from you. Hey, what do you think, kid? Liu Ping also laughed, obviously already showing his favor to Xiao Yang. After all, this is a talented seedling, so he can't let go easily. Humph. Liu Larugui, don't talk nonsense. Although it is true that your heavenly palace is the first of the 3 palaces, as for which palace Xiao Yang joins, it is better to be free. You have obviously interfered too much, which is obviously against the rules. Wei Mu Shu's figure also said slowly. Obviously he was not afraid of Liu Ping because he was the deputy hall master of the Tiandian temple. Hehe, isn't this the first choice for our heavenly palace? Brother Mu, don't worry. Liu Ping also knew Mu Shu's character, and he was upright, so he didn't care, but said, this burning incense pavilion is divided into 3 halls of heaven, earth, and people. Among them, the Tiandian is the most powerful. This kind of power means that in recent years, there have been many powerhouses from the Tiandian, so it also established the hegemony of the Tiandian. However, these 3 halls are the most powerful strengths of the Funxiang Pavilion. Among the 3 halls, each hall has a unique fighting skill. Mu Feng also said slowly to the people around him. This Mu Feng seems to know a lot of things. Xiao Yang also shook his head. Obviously, this Mu Feng knew very detailed things. If it wasn't for the people inside the Funxiang Pavilion, they would rarely know such details. The 3 halls of heaven, earth, and people, the most famous of them are 3 fighting skills. Among them, the burning heaven art of the Tiandian temple is the most domineering, and the reckless hand of the earth temple is the most powerful. As for the human temple, Mu Feng also seemed to be hesitant to speak. What happened to the human palace? Mu Yingying also asked with great interest. The fighting skill in the Hall of People is the most peculiar. It is a mysterious fighting skill called the Heaven-Shifting Ruler. It is said that since the Incense Pavilion was established, it has only been made by 2 people. The unfamiliar disciples who joined the Hall of Human Beings are all rushing to the Heaven-Shifting Ruler, but no matter how many heavenly arrogant disciples follow, they will not be able to cultivate and realize the heaven-moving ruler. This is also the reason why the human palace is ranked last. Mu Feng also said slowly, "Are you moving the ruler of the sky?" Xiao Yang also muttered, then looked at the 3 deputy hall masters who were discussing in a low voice in front of him, and immediately planned to ask his master, the Golden Dragon King. "Master, do I really want to join that person's palace?" Xiao Yang was also helpless. It could be seen that the 3 temples of heaven, earth, and people are currently the most tyrannical, followed by the Earth Palace, and the People's Palace is the last. Hey, that's of course, but don't look at the decline of this human palace over the years. The human palace at its peak was in an invincible position by relying on the power of one temple to fight against the 9 super sects. And the moving ruler in the Hall of People is a rather mysterious fighting method. I think that in the human hall of the Burning Incense Pavilion, a strong man with the peak strength of the Do Emperor relied on the moving ruler to fight against the 2 strong Do Xian and retreated completely. From this, it is enough to explain the horror of this moving sky ruler, so you must join this man's hall, and this moving sky ruler must be learned as soon as possible. The slow voice of the Golden Dragon King also sounded in Xiao Yang's heart. Do Di Peak is fighting the 2 Do Immortals with the power of moving the sky. Xiao Yang was also surprised. Although it is only the strength of the 4-star Do Di in the early stage, he knows the difference between the peak of Do Di and Do Xian. Also, the holy flame you mentioned, and I have something to do with this man's temple. The Golden Dragon King's voice also sounded slowly. Holy Yang. Xiao Yang also grinned, and then looked at the 3 deputy hall masters who were constantly talking in front of him, and he also noticed for a while. Maybe I should feel sorry for the kindness of senior. Xiao Yang said, facing Liu Ping with an apologetic face, respectfully and politely. What I said is for your own good. Only by joining our heavenly temple can you obtain the best cultivation resources. Do you have to think about it? Liu Ping's smile just froze for a moment, and then he looked at Xiao Yang slightly angrily. The junior naturally knows, but after thinking about it, the human palace is the most suitable for me. Xiao Yang also smiled slowly, and then his eyes looked at Mu Shuzi. The Hall of People is good, but it's not suitable for you. Our 3 halls of heaven, earth and people are all the power of burning incense pavilion, you can rest assured. Liu Ping also said slowly. Senior's good intentions are taken from the bottom of my heart. It's just that I want to try the peculiar fighting skills in the Hall of People. Xiao Yang also laughed. Haha, you really have such a big appetite. Mu Shuzi also looked at Xiao Yang and said. Hihi, I have this plan. Xiao Yang also said slowly, it seems that he did not give up joining the Hall of People because of Liu Ping's words, and he seemed to be more interested in the fighting skills in the Hall of People because of Liu Ping's words. You really don't know the heights of the sky. Liu Ping also snorted coldly, and then stopped looking at Xiao Yang. The rest of you, if you want to join my heavenly palace, just follow me. After Liu Ping finished speaking, he also slowly walked outside the hall. As Liu Ping's words just fell, among the dozens of people behind him, an average number of people followed Liu Ping out. After all, they joined these super sects because they wanted to learn advanced martial arts and fighting skills, so that they would stand out and become giants in the future. Therefore, joining the most powerful heavenly temple in the burning incense pavilion will undoubtedly shorten their ability to become stronger. As for Xiao Yang, who was the first place in the points raid competition, if he insisted on joining the human temple, they also couldn't figure it out. Don't put good cultivation resources, but join the weakest part of the burning incense pavilion. Isn't this digging a grave? Follow me if you want to join my hall. Huozhi also spoke slowly, and then he greeted the rest of the people and left the hall. At this time, there were only a few people left in the hall, and after careful counting, there were still 4 people. It was Xiao Yang, Mu Feng, Mu Yingying, and that Xiao Yi. Are you guys ready to join my temple? If you succeed in your practice, you will be able to move ahead of the people in the Temple of Heaven, but it's not a blow to you. Since the establishment of my burning incense pavilion, in the 10,000 years of history, there are only 2 people who have cultivated. One of them is the founder of Burning Incense Pavilion. Mu Shuzi also raised his hand slightly, then looked at the 4 people in front of him. You have to try to find out. Xiao Yang also smiled, but there was some absolute confidence in his eyes. Okay, you can barely pass the test. Although the palace of my people is declining, it is by no means a soft persimmon that can be manipulated by others. Welcome to join the Hall of Humanity. From now on, the Hall of Humanity will be your home. Mu Shu also turned his back to his body and walked out, obviously heading towards the lower part of the Hall of Humanity. Let's go. Xiao Yi also said slowly to Xiao Yang. Obviously, what Mu Shuzi said just now really touched the weakest part of Xiao Yang's heart. Xiao Yi is already a newborn of 22 different types of fire on the Doqi continent, not the original Jinglian demon fire spirit, so since the first strange fire in Xiao Yang's body, every bit of it has been in Xiao Yi's heart. So Xiao Yi knew everything about Xiao Yang. After all, the two got along day and night, so they were quite familiar. Now that Xiao Yi has cultivated into human nature, she is also very clear about Xiao Yang's temperament. Kaelin and Zuna have been separated since they came to Dodi continent, and there is also the old dragon Emperor Zhukuan of the Taishu Gulong clan plus his father Jiu Yuan, which makes Xiao Yang's heart quite uncomfortable. The feeling of being separated from relatives is not pleasant. It's okay. Xiao Yang also paused, then came back to his senses and followed. Brother, don't worry, no matter what, I have mine, don't be too tired alone. Xiao Yi also slowly followed behind Xiao Yang. Ha ha ha, you kid. Xiao Yang also patted Xiao Yi's shoulder, very moved. Obviously, for Xiao Yi, he is a partner that he can absolutely trust. Moreover, Xiao Yi's mysterious identity as a fire elf will be even stronger in the future. Powerful. Hihi, count me in. Mu Feng also hurried to Xiao Yang. Yeah. Xiao Yang also said with a smile, Mu Feng's heart is not bad, and it is extremely worthy of friendship. After all, the method of yin-yang gossip that he cultivates, even his master Jin Longwang, who has always been a master and a master, is quite praised. And I. My name is Mu Yingying, please give me more advice in the future. Mu Yingying obviously didn't know what Xiao Yang was thinking, but she also found out that Xiao Yang was in a trance just now. Not as free as before. Moreover, Mu Yingying also has some different emotions towards Xiao Yang. It seems that some want to know the secrets in Xiao Yang's body. Okay. The four of us joined the Hall of People, and we will take care of each other in the future. Xiao Yang also laughed. Obviously Xiao Yang also found out what Mu Yingying just said. Some small grievances between the two have been written off. From now on, the four of them are also new disciples of the Hall of Humanity, and they are participating in the point-grabbing competition. Therefore, it is also quite suitable to win over the emotions at this time. After all, when you are away from home, it is the truth that there are multiple friends and multiple paths. These little guys. Mu Shuzi, who was walking in front, also shook his head slowly, and then said quite comfortably, "Let's go, it's time to go to the Hall of People." Xiao Yang also said, and after speaking, he was the first to catch up with Mu Shuzi. The five people just walked out of the main hall and walked towards an independent building. Looking around, it is also a mountain, but its area is very huge, and if you look closely, it is also a few hundred miles away. On the mountain peaks, there are mostly buildings full of sites in Langya, with accommodation and training places, but when a few people follow Mu Shuzi, the most conspicuous thing is the mountain peak, which spreads out from the endless void. An almost transparent river flowing down through the sky. The water in the river is blue. I don't know what special power it has, but when I look at it, it makes people feel relaxed and happy. This water. Xiao Yang also quietly exerted his soul power and probed towards the river. However, when Xiao Yang's huge soul power just touched the river, a comfortable feeling spread throughout his body, making Xiao Yang feel an indescribable comfort. What is this? It's so strange. Mu Feng also discovered the mysterious river of the Azure Waterfall, and immediately pondered. This thing. The voice of the Golden Dragon King in Xiao Yang's body also appeared slowly. I can't believe that such a terrifying thing exists in this burning incense pavilion. The voice of the Golden Dragon King, his master, slowly appeared in Xiao Yang's heart, and then there was a strong sense of shock in the voice, and he stared at Xiao Yang. Inflammation. Master, what is that? Xiao Yang also asked his master Jinlong King in his heart. Haha, have you seen the blue river in front of you? His own master, the Golden Dragon King, also laughed. Could it be that this river is different? Xiao Yang also wondered. Hey, this river has some mysterious powers. His own master, the Golden Dragon King, also said quite enviously. What power? Xiao Yang was also surprised. Let's talk to you tomorrow, let's have a good rest today. The Golden Dragon King also saw that Xiao Yang was a little tired, and then said, "This kid's eyes are really sharp." Mu Shuzi was also quite surprised when he noticed that Xiao Yang and the others were looking at the azure river beside the sky. But it's no wonder, after all, this river is also conspicuous, can it not be noticed? It's here. From now on, this will be your home. I believe that you are tired from participating in the selection and traveling. Take a rest today. As for other things, I will tell you in detail tomorrow morning. Mu Shuzi took Xiao Yang and the others to an independent courtyard and spoke slowly. After saying that, he also left here. Xiao Yang and the others also looked at each other in dismay, never expected that Mu Shuzi would be so good at talking. However, no one was staying, and walked in towards the courtyard. Since this is their residence in the burning incense pavilion from now on, they should be familiar with the environment first. The courtyard is not big, but it is very clean and simple. It can be seen that the people in this palace are very loving. Just when I walked in through the small door, I found that there was a stone platform in the courtyard. There were some teacups and tea on the stone platform. It was obviously deliberately placed here by someone with a heart. Beside the stone platform, there is an evening incense, which exudes a tempting fragrance. Hey, come over and have a cup of tea. Xiao Yang also walked over first, poured out the tea, greeted a few people, and then slowly took a sip. Good tea. Mu Feng also said after tasting the tea. It seems that this is our future residence. Mu Feng also looked at it, and said quite satisfied. Mu Feng could feel that although this courtyard is not big, the emperor energy in it is very huge, how many times larger than the outside world. Living here all the time can also subtly speed up the cultivation speed. Among the five, there were 3 men, and Mu Yingying and Ludi also held hands tightly. How are we going to allocate the domicile? Mu Yingying also bit her lip lightly and said slightly. Obviously, the residences in front of them are independent of each other, but who lives where is another question. It's simple, you are women, naturally you will come first. Mu Feng also said slowly. Okay. Mu Yingying and Ludi also looked at Xiao Yang and Xiao Yi, and then walked towards a wooden house in the courtyard. It seems that this place is not big or small, there are exactly 5 separate rooms. Xiao Yang's soul power also told Xiao Yang. When Mu Yingying and Ludi went to the wooden house, Xiao Yang also found a few small characters on the stone platform. 5 bamboo residents. Is it here? Xiao Yang also asked with interest. The 5 Xiao Yang also lived in Wuzhuju, each with their own independent room. Presumably this is also the meaning of the burning incense pavilion. The newcomers live in a close place, firstly to facilitate these newcomers to practice and communicate, and secondly, it is also for unity. After all, it is also a good dispatch when something happens. Time passed by every second, and night came quickly. In the 5 simple wooden houses in the Wuzhu residence, Xiao Yang, Xiao Yi, Mu Feng, Ludi and Mu Yingying lived separately. At this time, the 5 of them also officially joined the burning incense pavilion, and I believe that tomorrow Mu Shuzi also let him officially cultivate. However, this is also the first time these 5 people have joined this huge super sect. In a wooden house on the edge of Wuzhu's residence, it was Mu Feng's residence. Hey! I didn't expect this burning incense pavilion to be like this. If I knew earlier, I shouldn't have listened to my father. Mu Feng also said a little depressed. Back then, his father said that the Funxiang pavilion was very good. Although his father went out from the incense pavilion, Mu Feng always thought it was strange, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. That Xiao Yang is really amazing, he was able to achieve this step with the strength of the 4-star Do Emperor early stage. There was shock in Mu Feng's voice. But don't look at Mu Feng's carefree appearance, no one can compare with his thoughtful words. But he is also a person to befriend, especially the fire lotus seeds that merged at the end. The power is really terrifying. If it were me, I might not be able to resist it. Mu Feng also said slowly. After finishing speaking, he also went back to the bed and sat down. The Battle of the Points plundering competition also consumed a lot of strength. Although the fighting spirit has recovered, the body is also very tired, and it is time to take a nap to give the body a holiday. It seems that the grievance between the Xianling royal family and our Medusa family is far stronger than I thought. Green Flute's residence, Green Flute also said slowly. It is true that Green Flute is a Medusa snake man, and the blood in his body cannot be faked, but he was adopted by humans since he was a child, so he is no different from ordinary humans, except that the extremely charming aura that belongs to the snake man is indeed true. Can't hide it at all. Moreover, the reason why Green Flute wants to participate in this point-grabbing competition and join the super sect is also with her obsession. My lady queen. Although I don't know where you came from, the blood on your body gives us a very friendly feeling, so I will definitely get the things from the burning incense pavilion the way. Looking at the appearance, it is not so simple for this Green Flute to join the incense pavilion. On the other side, Mu Yingying's residence. Hey! Brother Yankai doesn't know where he went. Will I be scolded by him if I sneak out like this? My elder brother said that humans are all bad people with evil intentions, but how can I find out? Mu Yingying also sat beside her bed, and then slowly swayed her rather slender legs. It's just that the moment he said something, what came to his mind was the scene of Xiao Yang fighting the twin ghost emperors in the corpse forest. It seems that they are not as scary as my brother said. Mu Yingying also smiled slightly. For Xiao Yi, she went to bed early. After all, she just broke through the realm of Fire Elf, and she also needs to be consolidated. After all, I have some strange contracts with Xiao Yang, so I can't rest assured. Xiao Yang's residence. These 5 wooden houses are really strange. Each one is a small space independent of each other. No one will notice what you say or do in it. This burning incense pavilion is really strange. Xiao Yang also looked around the wooden house. The wooden house is quite simple, but the living utensils are readily available, and it is extremely clean. Obviously, someone is often responsible for cleaning. Xiao Yang also sat down, and then sat on the table, just about to raise a teacup to drink water, but found that the fighting spirit in his body was full of excitement. This fluctuation is. Xiao Yang was also greatly surprised, and then no longer hesitated. He sat on the bed in an instant, then crossed his legs and closed his eyes slightly. Hihi, you kid. The figure of the Golden Dragon King also floated out. Although the incense pavilion is strong like a cloud, how sacred is his master, the Golden Dragon King, how could he be afraid of these characters? Moreover, given the strength of the people here, Even the current state of the Golden Dragon King's soul cannot be found. After all, the title of the Golden Dragon King is not for nothing. Let's break through first. It seems that the step-up battle is also a huge exercise for you, and now you can break through to the middle stage of the 4-star Dodi. The Golden Dragon King also said slowly. Xiao Yang nodded when he heard the words, and then concentrated on controlling the extremely violent fighting qi in his body. The Dodi strong, the Do qi in his body has already formed a Do qi sea, so Xiao Yang also discovered these huge seas of fire in his body, which should be where his Do qi sea is located. If you want to enter Doxian, you have to compress and condense the Do qi sea in your body to form Doxian, so you can step into Doxian. The voice of the Golden Dragon King also appeared. Doha. Xiao Yang was also extremely surprised. Obviously this was the first time he had heard of such a secret. Yes, Doha. The Doha is a place to compress the Do qi sea in your body to condense a more powerful place to store Do qi, which is called Doha. The Doha is the most important symbol of the Doxian strong, and there are a lot of powerful things in Doha. For example, the domain. The Golden Dragon King's voice also sounded like a dull thunder in Xiao Yang's heart. Doxian. Battle core. Domain. Xiao Yang was also extremely shocked. Obviously these things are also extremely terrifying. Is Dokor the standard for Doxian? There is also understanding. It's really some good things. Xiao Yang also smiled, and then he advanced. At this time, Xiao Yang's vindictive energy spread out from his body, and he was like a fire god, possessed by flames. The huge fighting qi also gathered from all directions, and then all poured into Xiao Yang's room and emerged into Xiao Yang's body. More and more fighting qi poured into Xiao Yang's room, and Mu Yingying and the others also noticed the change, just wanted to check it out, when they received a biography from Xiaoyi. Sound. Xiao Yang is advancing, don't worry. Just a few words, like a reassurance. The three of them quietly stayed in the room and did not go out. Success. Xiao Yang also slowly exhaled. The reason why this promotion will be so fast this time, on the one hand, was caused by Xiao Yang's battle with the twin ghost emperors. At that time, Xiao Yang's strength had already reached the middle stage of the 4-star fighting emperor. At that time, there was no immediate promotion to prevent accidents. Therefore, the strength has also been greatly improved, and the promotion at this time is like a natural progression, naturally very fast. The sea of fighting qi in the body seems to have consolidated a little. Xiao Yang also discovered that the extremely huge sea of fighting qi in his body had a certain solid state when he was promoted to the middle stage of the 4-star Do Emperor. Although it was very weak, it did not escape Xiao Yang's soul perception. After the promotion was successful, Xiao Yang didn't stop at the battle core that his master Jin Longwang said. After all, Xiao Yang still understood the reason why he couldn't make a big fat man with one bite. There seems to be something moving on your body. The Golden Dragon King also stared at Xiao Yang and said, "This is." When Xiao Yang heard the words, he also hurriedly used his soul power to investigate Naji, and indeed found that something was moving. This video will end here.